Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. I've made a decision, which is I did make a mistake. It wasn't a bug or something like that. The only thing that had been keeping the progress of the slavery thing down was the fact that I had was that I didn't have the intelligentsia in government. And while Pedro de Braganza is in the regency period, okay, the regency period is going to last for another 7 years. Yikes! Until he's 21. All right, well that'll do it. Maybe there's an event to end it early, like historically. Anyway, while that's happening, you get negative progress on that, and it went a lot faster than I thought it was gonna. So, it is what it is. But I think basically, I'm gonna continue. I think that was an honest error. We're gonna deal with the consequences, and we'll get going. So we're in a war here. Our allies in Chile are winning their fight in the south here. We have discovered Napoleonic warfare and are now working on general staff, which is going to move us closer to being able to fight on equal terms with Europeans and on favorable terms with other people in our area. So, production and agitation. Oop. There's an event. There's an election. The intelligentsia are not in a party, which is interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to see if I can continue to make them stronger for the moment. Did that election event just... Oh, you know what? I bet that was an election event. So, apologies, but that thing is going to be where it is for now. It's going to be whatever it was. But we're at 42%. Hopefully we'll continue to get some progress with this, with dedicated police forces. In the meantime, we are winning on the front. We've got a hold of Mato Grosso. We're winning this battle over here in Santa Cruz. This is Santa Cruz, right? Yes. And now we've got another event. A new national hero. Joao Maciel has proven himself on the battlefield after a stunning victory in Mato Grosso, has become a rallying cry for the nation and the Nordestino people. From Porto Alegre to Belém, I can think we all agree that what Joao Maciel achieved on this day was nothing short of a miracle. To him I propose a toast. Viva Maciel. He's a national hero. He used his status to integrate the Nordestino people. He's a trade traditionalist commander. Okay, we'd rather condemn this singular figure. He dies. Okay. I'm going to do the first one. Integrating the Nordestino people seems good. So that should affect this event. And I can prac the integrating the Nordestinos. So what this will do is it will remove the national homeland status of Nordestino states. So based on the name, I'm going to assume those are north. Amazonian here in Para. There's a bunch of different ones here this one's Amazonas. This one's Para. This one's Nordestino. And our population here is virtually none Nordestino? That doesn't make any sense. Nordestino. I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding how this works. Population here is, okay, it's about 30% Nordestino. One here is Amazonic. Okay, so we got a bunch of different Nordestino areas. And those people are not primary, but they're not discriminated. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do that. Integrate the Nordestinos, and this gives us an event. The integration of the Nordestinos. The Nordestino people of Bahia, Pernambuco, and the whole of the Northeast have reconciled with the central government and the growing Brazilian national movement. Religion, independence, unity, liberty. These are the bywords of Brazil. Now I'm sure you're all curious to know what a priest and a coffee picker is doing here. Who has an answer? We're Brazilians. This is what the country asks of us. I'd give half marks. Yes, we are all Brazilians, but no. The country asks that we cherish all that we have, for we are all that we have. Oh, beloved, idolized homeland, hail, hail. Every Nordestino pop globally will become Brazilian. Alright, cool. So that's rad. I'm very pleased with that outcome. Force comparison over here is looking very good. Law progressive voting, that's looking positive as well. So we had a little bit of a goof up in the slavery thing, but we're doing much better here. There's a victory, and here's a for our allies, and here's a victory for us. We are in the process of moving the front westward, and there it is. Okay, so we're getting troops on the front. These two fronts feel like they should be merged, but you know, it is what it is. So at this point, they should stop having. Okay, they won't. They still have war support protection. Our enemies do, because we haven't conquered North Peru, but our allies in Ecuador are continuing to push forward, and La Paz looks like the capital. So if we can get La Paz, we can get them to capitulate everything, and then we can win the war fully. And our finances are doing just fine. So I'm generally optimistic. We got our first university built, and that should be helping out with things. Our port in Rio Grande del Norte is continuing to be built, so I'm also optimistic about that. Force comparison is looking very good on all fronts, so we are running them out, and we're sinking enemy convoys at the same time. We're short on artillery, so let's bring in some artillery. We're going to have to buy it at a not profit from our enemies, the Dutch. Our rivals, the Dutch, not our enemies. We're not in a war against the Dutch. We're just rivaling them. All right, this is another victory up in these mountains here. And that means La Paz is ours. So Peru Bolivia no longer has war support protection. They are almost completely occupied, so they're losing war support at a rate of 10 per week. So I'm just going to go ahead and check all of the war goals. Their peace acceptance is minus 53, but obviously that's going to change relatively quickly. We're going to get everything we could possibly want. So we're a little short on bureaucracy, so I'm going to queue in another government admin. We don't have standardized filing system yet, so we are actually going to need to physically build the necessary admin, and unfortunately we're going to need another port in Rio de Janeiro to increase the amount of infrastructure available there before we build too much more. In fact, before we build basically anything else. So that's the end of our little war. We do have a little bit of extra. I'm going to go ahead and normalize production methods in Santa Cruz. And that actually is going to give us a little bit more bureaucracy, so let's go ahead and start integrating the place. It's going to take 5 years, but that's all right. That's going to help our finances significantly. Finances, by the way, are doing quite a bit better. Bolivia is, of course, super salty with us. Relations are quite bad, and they're feeling antagonistic. So, Peru-Bolivian Confederation is no longer making progress because North Peru is no longer held by Bolivia. So next time someone wants to take another chunk out of Bolivia, we can help. All right, so everything's going okay for now. We're going to have to stop building new universities to build a new port in Rio de Janeiro. Tech research is going pretty well. In a few years, we're going to have general staff, and that's going to allow us to do everything we need. Obviously, this trade route... Sort these goods properly. Obviously, this trade route of artillery is hideously unproductive, but it is what it is. It's all we can do. Actually, it's not quite all we can do. Let's set artillery to... Oh, it's already on protect domestic supply. Well, it is what it is. We got a stall event. Backroom dealings exposed. Prominent members of the Petite Bourgeoisie, outspoken advocates of dedicated police force, and close allies of Bernardo Pereiro de Vasconcelos have been exposed in a corruption scandal, having exchanged political favors for personal gifts. One aid was all it took. One boy squeezing acne from his face in the right place at the right time to overhear the howling laughter, smell the rich tobacco blend, and spot Bernardo Pereira de Vasconcelos' new golden cuff links. One honest fellow's word to the right ears, and it was all uncovered. So, such is the nature of politics, minus 15% enactment chance, and he gets a huge popularity debuff. Or thrown into the wolves who must clean up this mess, 10% enactment chance. Lost for 5 years, but dealing with corruption, minus 5% bureaucracy. We're producing 756 bureaucracy, so that's like 35 bureaucracy. It's not great, but it's what we're going to have to do. Because I don't want to lose 15% enactment chance out of this. Yeah, that's okay. That's 3% tax waste isn't a tragedy. We're doing pretty well overall from a taxation perspective. Our finances are pretty alright. I would love if I could get the intelligentsia into this thing. I am pushing the landowners down in strength, and they are decreasing in clout overall over time, which is good. A lot of this is going to get a lot easier when Emperor Pedro II comes of age, because that's going to provide us with a bunch of extra authority, which is going to let us fix our finances. Speaking of which, they're looking pretty weak. I think we're spending a lot on clippers at the moment. And boy howdy, we're spending a lot on paper. So, unless the private sector is going to build any paper mills, we're going to have to build paper mills, I think. So let's figure out where we want to build them. Really, I think Sao Paulo has some labor available and some infrastructure available, so that's going to have to be the place. Paper mills. We're still on pulp pressing. Hey, there's stock exchange. Excellent. And that reduced our trade route bureaucracy costs, which is actually a great thing. Oof. So to unlock the next production method for paper mills, we need mechanical tools, and that's going to be a bit. Hopefully we'll get that spreading to us in a reasonable amount of time, but we're going to have to get lathe finished first. Alright, there's paddle, steamer, and military. So we should get... what do we have spreading to us next? Screw frigate. Alright, that's not great, but it is what it is. And lathe we should be just about to finish up. There we go. Predicted to finish in 8 years. I feel like you don't know what's going on, computer. Alright, so we're just waiting for lathe to finish out. There's lathe. Alright, perfect. So that's going to unlock a bunch of different production methods. And what do we have spreading to us? Bessemer process. Ugh, not what I wanted. Not what's ideal. Again, mechanical tools would be the ideal thing to be spreading here. But unfortunately, that is just not viable at this time. So, I'm actually tempted to skip out on intensive agriculture and go directly to mechanical tools and atmo pump engine, and just recognize that I'm going to need to rely on foreign help for my ammunition needs for the moment. Oh, goodness. Sorry, we have an army with no thing. And we have unacceptable... Oh, not... What? No, yeah, I know, guys. I know, guys. It's just... I can't do anything about it, that's all. I'm pushing down the landowners, I'm pushing up the intelligentsia. It's eventually going to make things okay. It's just not going to make them okay now. Actually... We're at the point where we're going to be in unacceptable if we pull the intelligentsia in. I think it's worth it to do that. If we do that, let me see. Would the intelligentsia prefer this? Yes, they would. So getting them into the government is actually going to make... that's going to put us right on the cusp. It's not going to change anything. We're doing it. That's going to make dedicated police force a little bit more likely. An ultimatum. The intelligentsia have issued a stern ultimatum to Francisco Sabino about towing the party's line on the proposal for dedicated police force. Francisco Sabino is determined to resist. The matter wedged the caucus, and it was by their own making. Meanwhile, the issue at hand has given way to this fallout. Sheer stubbornness is what fuels it, with pride wagered in the gamble. Nothing will proceed without a timely resolution to this. We welcome any dissidents from the intelligentsia that makes them weaker and makes Sabino, who's the head of the intelligentsia, happier, or never interrupt an opponent when they make a mistake. I'm going to go with the first one. I think hopefully this is going to make the intelligentsia stronger. Or they might we might get an acting chance instead. Perfect. All right, we got slightly stronger intelligentsia out of that. That should be very useful. We got a lot of extra authority now. And our cash flow is in the positive. So, construction perspective, we're building up this port in Rio de Janeiro. And I think after that... Gosh, I'm still going to be goofing up my infrastructure here real bad by building these universities. Maybe I'll just build a couple. But I do need to build one more. Oh, I've got an event popping off. Where are you? An early coronation. Hoping to gain political capital, the industrialists' regency has decided to crown Pedro de Braganza as Emperor of Brazil, significantly earlier than planned. The wolf shall also dwell with the lamb, the leopard shall lie down with the young goat, the calf and the young lion shall be fatling together, and the little child shall shield them. So begins his reign. Bam. Alright, so we got our early end to the regency period, which is very good for us overall. It means we can throw some more consumption taxes in there. We can do our consumption tax on services, but actually, I think it would be better if we doubled up on other smaller things like luxury clothes and coffee. And that's going to really help the government's cash flow. So, and this means the regency period debuff has ended. Renewed African cycle is permanent. This should go away if we actually get rid of slavery, but it's going to be a while before we're able to do that. Now, we do have the capacity to boot the Liberal Party out and use the intelligentsia completely. And the temptation to do that is extremely high, but I'm probably going to wait until the next election cycle just to make sure that we don't end up in a situation where we're opening ourselves to movements that are dysfunctional to us. Also, the Petite Bourgeoisie will be very mad if they give us a petition and then we bailed on it by booting them out of the government. Government is still unacceptable, but that's actually alright. Again, we have the capacity to make it not so, and if we continue to build up the strength of the intelligentsia, we can do that. So what do we need? Magnanimous Monarch is at 6 out of 10. So I'm pretty pleased about that. And the Peru-Bolivian Confederation is currently not advancing. So, I don't think we can colonize Garangi at all. I think both these lands are claimed by Argentina, being colonized by Argentine Confederation, and then it doesn't say there's a claim anywhere, but I think they are. I think that's obligate Argentinian territory. So we could go after Uruguay, though. 7.3 infamy. What's their diplomatic situation look like? They're improving relations with Venezuela, but that's not all that big of a deal. Argentine Confederation is not looking favorably on us. Let's improve relations with them a little bit. We are continuing to improve relations with our northern neighbors, but I think we could grab Uruguay without causing a giant problem. It would be a financial difficulty for us, so I think I'm going to wait a little bit before we really get too deep into that. Unlocking the lathe has also unlocked some new capabilities for us, so we can go to lathes for our furniture situation. This is going to add a tools input and output a lot more furniture, which is going to be good because furniture is very expensive. This says it's going to goof them up, but I don't think it's going to... Oh, man, gosh, I am wrong. No, go back. Be profitable again, please. Hold on. Let's have them making lathes, and let's put in luxury furniture production, and we'll see what that does. So we have some hardwood in our market, but we're short on hardwood, so let's get a little bit more hardwood being created. We're just going to put the one that was already on hardwood on focused hardwood. It's going to double the amount of hardwood. Tools are already expensive, but that is what it is. And price of furniture, I'll put this over to staple goods, furniture production is up. Oh, we're getting a bunch of furniture from trade routes. Interesting. And what about luxury furniture? Production of luxury furniture is up, but only a hair. Why? Hold on. Let's stop importing a ton of luxury furniture. Let's stop exporting wood. We'll stop importing a ton of furniture. And what does that do to the profitability of our furniture manufacturers? Alright, they're significantly up. So, but they can't hire. So let's give it some time. Hey, there's the arcade police force. Perfect. Alright, now they are hiring. Now they are producing. So if they can continue to hire. They're all in Rio de Janeiro. Oh, we have overemployment in Rio de Janeiro, don't we? Yes, I see the issue. So even though there are 3 levels of them, they can't employ profitably because they... Even though we have the reason... Oh, that's terrible. That's the worst. Alright, well, unfortunately... I didn't realize we were so dependent on foreign goods here. I am going to have to start a new import route. We will continue to get luxury furniture and furniture from the French. Because I don't want to tank our standard of living here. But it is good to have visibility to the fact that that our furniture manufacturers are not able to produce what we need them to be able to produce because of the shortage of labor. And I think, however, that we can solve that by a fairly reasonable method, which is we can just close a level of banana plantations. Banana plantations are, well, they're moderately profitable, but I have such high fruit production capacity. This has got to be the right choice, right? And this is going to bring up the standard of living. No, actually, it's the sugar plantations that are super goofed. Coffee plantations are a little goofed. Banana plantations are a little goofed. And maize farms are a little goofed. But it's really the sugar plantations that are just eating tons of labor for no benefit. They're producing sugar that nobody needs. Cash reserves are going down now. So I think I can actually close the other level of them. And these people will find work where they need to. Just because sugar is so cheap in our customs union that it's not even worthwhile. Well, they're still employing quite a few people. But how does this affect the furniture manufacturers? It hasn't gone up that much, but it is continuing to go up. So they are employing more people. So the other thing we can do is is add dyes to our textile mills. Now, do we produce any of our own dyes? It's looking like we do not. Paraguay is improving relations. Cool. Sort of shocking. Do we have the ability to produce dye plantations? We do. Okay. In fact, Barna has plenty of infrastructure available, and we could produce them there. Santa Cruz has labor available, and we can produce them there. And Sao Paulo has some labor available. All right, so we'll queue those in for Sao Paulo. We do not need government admin at this time, so we can go ahead and cancel that. And I'll put these behind the ports in Bahia because we've got an infrastructure problem there, and we need to... Here's that. Alright, so once we've got a native source of dyes, we can work on getting our textile manufacturers up to using dye workshops. It's going to produce a ton more clothes, which is going to be really important for our country. We don't have a native source of silk. I don't think we'll be able to have one. Let's just double check to make sure. Yes, silk plantations here. We cannot build them. So that is what it is. Let's take a look at the other needs of our market. Yeah, we need a bunch more furniture manufacturers. A bunch more furniture. Our furniture manufacturers are just in a really rough state. We're bringing in slaves to work the fields, and hopefully that'll deal with our labor issue, but there's no guarantee that it will. 8th Brazilian Army is completely goofed on manpower right now. Where... Oh, of course. All of these barracks are in Para. Oh no, a bunch of them are in Rio Grande do Sul. Alright. Well, in any case, they're in places that they can't hire. We created real problems in Para. Para is no longer devastated, but it's still suffering from a huge mortality increase, and the population is going down. So that's not great, friends. I think we're going to cut some barracks from this army. Just because it's continuing to try to hire, and I don't think it can. This is the army of the Amazon. We only have... Let me see. This one's in Bahia. This one's in Bahia as well. So we close this. That'll consolidate them. And that, okay, that's a full unit. And this one, we're mostly okay. Southern Expedition Army. We got 2 in Minas Gerais. Let's close one. And that should consolidate them into 1. Maybe I make a mistake. Oh well. Close another one as well. Alright, and that should help that out. Again, we're not closing units that can function here. We're just closing units that were only on paper. They were only on paper units. So, is Rio de Janeiro about to be short on infrastructure? No, we've actually got plenty. Alright, so I'm feeling very good about that. We're building another university. And again, building up all these universities is going to increase the power of the intelligentsia. In fact, it's gone up so much that our contested government is now... that our unacceptable government is now contested. So once we get an election, if I can continue to strengthen the intelligentsia... In fact, if I boot these guys out... No, it's not going to help. Alright, are there reforms I want to get started on right away? I got a sense of suffrage to be deeply unpopular. Appointed bureaucrats are good. Again, I could institute private schools. The Catholic Church would be opposed, but everyone else would be for it, including the industrialists, and I would be very pleased to have the support of the industrialists for now. Having private schools would also increase the strength of the intelligentsia. It would cost us 49 bureaucracy, however, but I think it's worth it. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll get started on that. And now the intelligentsia are pleased. Let's see if we've got any custom abilities here. The intelligentsia get us, yes, brasilidad, 10% extra prestige. Bacheries, reduced radicals from standard of living decreases. Industrialists get job creators, which is the default one. And the goods must flow, 10% infrastructure. Oh, interesting. So I actually really need to keep our industrialists happy because that's what's giving me enough infrastructure to function in a lot of these areas. And without that, we are goofed. We're straight goofed, friends. All right. Uruguay is a good expansion target. Let's see. The state of Uruguay is mostly Platinian, other European heritage, which means I'm at... What the frick is my... Well, we're at racial segregation, so they'll be accepted. So, let's go ahead and start us a diplomatic play. Alright, it has popped off. I'm going to mobilize just one army. And I'm going to hope that's going to be enough. Uruguay has 4 battalions. And let's take a look at their production methods. We got 3 line infantry and 1 unit of dragoons, whereas I have 6 battalions of line infantry and 1 battalion of lancers. So I'm hoping that being overstrengthened this way will help make the situation very feasible. I'll take a look at what the force comparison is once I'm actually on the front. Uruguay refuses the demands. That's not shocking. And what does it look like? It's a little low. Alright, so we'll put the this army here as well. But how's that going to go? We'll have to find out at the beginning of the next episode. For now, I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun as well, and I will see you on the other side.